Hey travel people, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how much do travel agents really make in this industry. But before I jump into that, I did want to give you guys an update on the trip that I'm planning for 2025. If you don't really care about that trip and you want to skip to where I start talking about how much travel agents make, then I'll leave the timestamp on the screen so you know where to start. Okay, but to give you an update on the trip, I'm releasing a group trip to Punta Cana in 2025. That trip is now live and ready to go. I'm going to leave the link below in the description. So if you guys are interested in joining me on going on this trip, let me know. And so we're going to be in Punta Cana for 4 days, and I have a lot of exciting things planned. It's going to be a really fun trip. This trip is not really a teaching trip, really. It's more so just a vacation to take, meet new people, meet like-minded people, people who are in the travel industry, or maybe you're thinking about doing it. And you kind of just want to go and check it out with a group of people. You don't want to go by yourself. Or, you just want to hang out with some of our subscribers. So that's kind of the plan. It's going to be for 2025, as I said. All the information is going to be in the link below. So if you're interested, let me know. And if you have any questions, you can even leave them on this video or reach out to me via the form. So hopefully you guys join me. I'm very excited about it and looking forward to it. So let me know if you guys are going to go below in the comments, and then remember the link is down there in the description. So with that being said, let's talk about, another update is that I also hosted a group training session. So where I taught students how to put together a group trip of their own, how to price it, how to plan it, how to structure it, all of those things. It was a live training, but I ended up recording it. So if you guys are interested in getting that training, I'm going to leave the link to that as well below. It's going to be the recording, so obviously it won't be live anymore, but all the information that we talked about is still there, all the tools that I gave, and then you'll also be able to hear some of the questions that the students asked at the end of the training, so that if you do have those same questions, which most people do have generally the same type of questions, you'll have answers to that too. So I feel like it's a really great resource, and I'm going to leave the link to that below as well. Now that's all the updates I have for you. So let's talk about how much do travel agents really make in 2024 and 2023, since that you just finished. Now, ever since the pandemic, a lot of things has changed in the travel industry. Like the industry saw an increase of people using travel agents again, just because travel was more complicated. You had to have more paperwork filled out. You had to have different permits and things like that to travel during that time. And then especially post-pandemic. So there are still a lot of people using travel agents in order to book their vacations. Now, I know that we live in a world where, travel is easily accessible online. So it's easy to use things like Booking.com, TripAdvisor, different platforms like that for someone to book their own vacations. But what you have to realize when it comes to becoming a travel agent, the main focus is that we're providing a service, right? There are a lot of things that can be done on your own in today's time, right? Technically, and if you want to sell your house, you could sell your house. You don't have to go and use a real estate agent, right? So different things like that. If you wanted to get some type of service done, whether that be your hair or maybe a shopping, a personal shopper, things like that, you could do all of those type of things on your own. But people find value in paying for a service to be done for them. So that's what you have to think about when it comes to becoming a travel agent. A lot of people think, oh, well, I could just go and people can just go and book their own trip. Yes, they could. But when you dive deeper into being a travel agent and what that means and the type of service that you're providing, then it's bigger than just going on Booking.com, because that's one's on top of my head, and just placing a vacation and you're not really sure on the quality of the hotel. Where is the hotel located? Is it safe? All those kind of things a travel agent can assist you with. So when you become a travel agent, you are specializing in the field of travel. So whichever niche you choose to go, the value that travel agents offer is experience, and then it's knowledge in the industry, right? So when we're planning these vacations, we know the top restaurants to go to, or the top tours to go on, and the top excursions, those type of things. Because if you don't, then you run the risk of spending all this money on a vacation and then you don't have a good time, right? So you picked a bad hotel and you found out that the service is really bad. The rooms aren't really clean. The hotel's under construction or needs to be under construction. Like there's so many things that could go wrong in a vacation. And so people still value reaching out to a travel agent and then letting that expert book their vacation, because that's what it comes down to. You are selling yourself as an expert in an industry. So that being said, yes, travel agents are still being used. Yes, travel agents still provide a valuable service. Now, I will say, just because I want to touch on this, is it's not how travel used to be when you were a travel agent. So back in the day, you would work for like a brick and mortar agency, and you would be like a W-2 employee. That's not really how travel agents operate, at least in the majority in today's time, right? So when you're thinking about, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, but there are things that you can do inside of your business as a travel agent in order to increase your income and then to provide additional service than just booking vacations. Okay, so but we'll talk about that too. Okay, so first I'm gonna talk about how do travel agents get paid. Okay, and I'm not sure if I actually knew this when I got into the business or if I figured it out later, but just in case you don't know, when it comes to being paid in this industry, is you're not going to be paid right away. So typically, if you book a vacation, okay, let's just say we're in 2024 and you book a vacation for 2025, right? Or even just a few months from now. You're not going to receive your commission on that trip until after the client has traveled, okay? And then it's probably going to be about 2 weeks following the time that they return anyway. So you don't receive your money up front, right? So a lot of bookings are done in advance as far as when it comes to when you're going to get your commission. And the reason I tell you that is so that you can be mentally prepared into how to build this business. This is not a business where you quit your 9 to 5, you go full all in it, and you're making money right off the bat. That's just not how this industry works. Almost very similar to being like a real estate agent or someone in a structured position like that, because you have to build your clientele, you have to build your bookings, and then once you've done that, then you have vacations on the books routinely, and so the money is just flowing in, right? But in that beginning stage, you really need, if you really want to be serious, and I don't want to blow smoke, y'all, if you really want to do this, then going into it, you need to have the mindset that I'm going to start this out, but I'm still keeping my job, my 9 to 5. Or whatever you do on the side to make sure that your personal bills and things like that are paid, because it is going to take time to build up your income to be a full-time travel agent. And I'm not going to say that's everybody, but that's the majority, okay, of how the industry works. You're going to need to have that kind of time frame to where you're learning the business, you're booking clients, and then you're just building your clientele, like I said. Okay, so getting back to how travel agents actually receive their commission. So we use different platforms that travel agents have access to, and it allows us to receive commission on the trips that we book and the vacations that we book. So a lot of times I'll book right through these platforms that are used for the travel agents. And then sometimes I'll book direct with hotels as well. And so they could offer you net pricing or commissionable rates as well, either one. But either way, you are normally, if it's a net rate, then you won't have to worry about getting commission, because you'll just be paying the hotel whatever that net rate is and then keeping the rest as your commission. So that structure, you would get your commission right off the bat. But if you have a host agency, that's not going to be likely. You're probably going to be booking with commissionable rates. Okay, so it'll take after the client travels, then you'll receive that payment. If you're doing cruises, now I don't specialize in cruises. I don't really book cruises. I have been on them. But typically, if I'm not mistaken, I think cruises pay out their commission before travel. I think it might be like 30 or 60 days or something like that before. Don't quote me. But they're not, I don't believe cruises wait until the client has traveled. I think it's based more on when the final payment date or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, I don't specialize in cruises. So talking about specializing, by the way, picking a niche is important, because that's how you are going to set yourself apart, right? So as a travel agent, or just think of any industry for that matter, You need to specialize in something so that you can become well knowledgeable in it. You can understand that particular product that you're selling, and then you can be seen in your space as that expert. So people come to you just for those things. I came across an analogy. I don't remember what I was watching, but it was basically like how a photographer, right? A lot of times there are a lot of photographers out there, but if there is a bride or a groom and they're looking for a photographer, they're not just going to go to the mom and pop photographer that does headshots, right? They're going to look for the wedding photographer because that's what they specialize in, right? So those are the type of things that you want to keep in your mind, is that you want to find a niche. So just to give you some ideas, some of the top niches when it comes to being paid as a travel agent is going to be luxury travel, of course. And luxury travel is not like just your, 4.5 or 5-star, all-inclusive resort. I specialize in all-inclusives, but luxury travel is like a whole nother level. And so true luxury travel is where you're going to make a lot of money. Another category would be corporate travel, if that's something you wanted to get into. So you're booking corporate travel for corporations and businesses and that type of thing. That's a very lucrative route to take as well. And then also family vacations. It's where a lot of travel agents make majority of their money, but it just depends, right? So typically, on average, you're gonna see, especially if you're booking for families, you'll probably be booking around like that $5,000 average, right? And then your commission, now this varies, but let's just say starting out, your commission is 10%, right? So you'll get $500 back in commission from that $5,000 vacation sale, right? But if you're with a host agency, a lot of host agencies have higher commissionable rates if they've been in the industry for a while. So you might make more than that, right? But if you're starting out brand new, like I'm an independent agency right now, and most of all my commissionable rates are at 10% right now because I just went independent, right? So I don't have a track record showing that I made this amount of sales over this amount of years, to the hotels and the vendors and those type of things. So for the most part, starting out, your commission is around 10%. Now, I say this all the time. Commission is great. Yes, it's a very important part of the business, but I don't let that be the only thing that fuels my business. So I do the planning fees and things of that nature, and it's just incorporated into the price. So very similar to when you go to book on like booking.com or any online booking agency at all, the commission is already priced into that price. So when you go on there and you're like, oh, I'm going to book my own travel because I don't want to pay a travel agent. Well, little do you know, a commission is already priced in whatever price they're giving you online as well. And they're getting commissionable rates, and they're not giving you that service that a travel agent would. So like that one-on-one personalization of your vacation, you're not going to get that, but you're still paying that commissionable rate, whether you know it or not. So that's one thing. And so what I do is I like to add my planning fees into the overall cost of the trip, similar to like booking.com. That way I don't even have to have the conversation of, oh, well, this is why I charge a planning fee, and then having to present or convince that value. One, hopefully they just like the way that I'm doing things and they can already see the value. And then two, I just structure it to where it's just part of the overall vacation to them. And that's just how it is. That's how I do it. Now, depending on if you have a host agency, you might not be able to operate that way. So you would just have to speak with your host. But those are some of the ways that travel agents are paid, and then like how you can be paid. Okay. So let's talk about averages when it comes to being a travel agent. So some of the research I did, it said that the average travel agent makes around $53,000, if I'm not mistaken. That's kind of like an average. Was it 2023? It was either 2023, I believe it was for 2023. It's where they got these numbers from. And then when we're talking about on the low end, it said it was an average around like $30,000, and then on the high end around $96,000. So that's not bad when it comes to just commissions, right? So we're not even getting into some of the other things that you can incorporate into your business. Now, the thing to know about these salaries and how they can vary is this job is self-paced. So even if you have a host agency, it is still up to you how much time you're putting in, how much work you're going to be doing in your business, and just how much effort you're going to put forward, right? So everybody knows the more you put into something, the more you're going to get out of it. The less you put into something, the less you're going to get out of it. So it's really up to you how much you would like to earn. So the earning potential can be very high or it can be very low. It's all up to the particular travel agent and what they're willing to do and how much time they're willing to spend, right? So that's just kind of my take on that. Some other factors that kind of determine how much you're going to make is what is your structure? So what type of agent are you? Do you work under a host agency to where you're an independent contractor? Or are you considered an independent agency? So where you don't have a host agency and you work for yourself. Now you also work for yourself if you have a host because you're a 1099 contract, right? But you still work under a host. So the reason that some of these things can play into how much money you're making is, okay, let's say if you have a host agency, they're going to take a percentage of all the commission that you bring in, right? So it depends on your host and whatever split that you agreed to whenever you signed the contract with them. So I've seen some where it was 20-80. So the agency kept 20 and then you kept 80 of your commission. I've heard 70-30 splits. I've heard, I think that might have been the highest. I'm sure it ranges, but it can get up there. And so when those percentages are already eating into your commission, which commission is not a ton. Like you guys will see once you get into this industry, you do put a lot of effort into planning your vacations, doing the research and all those things. And a lot of times 10% you could feel like, well, that's not enough for the amount of work that I put in. So that's why planning fees are so helpful and beneficial in your business if that's something that you want to do. It's not mandatory and you don't have to do it. But just talking about so if you do have a host agency, some of that commission will go to the actual host. And that's just part of being under a host agency. That's how they set it up because you are using their licenses in order to sell travel. Now, if you're an independent agency, then you won't have that additional split. So if your commission is 10%, then you're going to get that full 10%. You won't have to split it with any host or anything like that. So it just depends, right? Now, I'm going to give y'all my 2 cents, and I know there might be some travel agents out there who might not like me saying this, but I never really saw the value in going under a travel agent who's under a host. And so what that means is there are travel agents who will reach out to you, sign up to be a travel agent with me. And there may be some benefits to that if they are going to coach you through it, right? If they're going to actually walk you through how to be a travel agent, and actually be there for you as a mentor, right? So not somebody that's like, oh, let's jump on. Like for me, this is my channel, so I'm just keeping it real with y'all. For me, I wouldn't sign that route if you was just going to meet with me like once a month, right? Because like I said, it's about how much you put in, it's what you're going to get out. So for me, I don't see the value in that setup. Now, if somebody is saying, hey, sign up under me and I'm going to walk you through it and I'll basically hold your hand on how to become a travel agent and you won't have to figure things out on your own, pay for trainings. Like I'm going to show you A to Z how to do it and how to operate and, grow your business. Then that's different, right? That would make me more enticed into signing up that route for a short period of time. Because when you think about it, just because I've been on that other side, if somebody's under a host agency, say you have a split already with that host, to be with that host at a 80-20%, right? And then me as a travel agent, I want to sign up other agents under me, under my host, if that makes sense. So you have the host, you have me, and then you have other agents that I'm wanting to sign up. Now, me and my host already have an 80-20 split, right? So if that's the case, when you sign up a new agent under you, that agent still has that 80-20 split with the host agency because they're also signed up to the host agency. They're just under you, right? So they're already starting at that 80-20 mark, right? The host get 20, the agent gets 80 for now, okay? But if you're signing up people under you, now whatever this agent here wants the additional commission to be, they're going to add that So let's say if they wanted to do 70-30, right? They're going to tell you, okay, well, to sign up under me, the split's going to be 70-30, right? So now that agent's going to get 10% of your commission, and then the host agency is going to get their 20% still, right? So that's really eating up into your commission, right? But like I said, it would depend on what type of teaching and coaching that they are presenting you, right? Because if you want me to sign up and I'm just out here watching the host videos that they already have on their website and all those things, then I could just go the 80-20 with the host and cut out the middleman. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of people call that, I don't want to misspeak, but I want to say, is that multi-level marketing or something like that? I can't think of what it's called. But anyway, I never went that route, and I don't really see the value in going that route if you want to make this your real business, something that you do eventually on a full-time basis, right? That structure just really wouldn't make sense, because you can make so much more money either going with a host directly or, learning like I did in the beginning. I was with the host for almost a year, pretty much like a year before I finally terminated that contract. And then I went and got my own licenses to be independent. Because if you want to make real money and make this a real business, like I said, you're going to want to be an independent agency, right? So that's my 2 cents on that. Sorry, if you don't like that, but it's just, that's my experience. That's what I think. And these are just my experiences on this channel, right? So some people like to talk about the perks of being a travel agent, and they'll think that, oh, travel agents travel for free all the time. And that's one of the main reasons to do it. And that's not true. Now, travel agents get a discount on their bookings, and it's not even like a huge discount at all. But in the beginning, that's not going to be reality for you. You are not going to be offered fam trips, which is basically just a trip to where a company invites you out to see the resort, to see the hotel, to see the destination, whatever, so that you can be better equipped to sell it to your clients. Now, those type of offers don't start coming until you built your business up a little bit, and then you can show that you're an actual business. So, but starting out, you're not just going to be getting free trips, every month or nothing like that. You can make commission off your trips if you want to go that route. And then you can book it at a discount for being a travel agent, which is nice too. But it's not like you're traveling for free at all. That's just not the reality, okay? So I don't want that to be like a reason that you guys go into this business. It's not an easy business to start. Like I said, in the beginning, you're going to have to build up your clientele. And you're going to have to know how to manage clients. There are a lot of things that go into it. But overall, just for the point of this video, I gave you guys some numbers, and the earning potential is really up to you. You can make so much more than what they say the average is of $96,000 a year, depending on if you go independent as an independent agency, if you're bringing on new agents in your agency. Now that's totally different. So if you set up an independent agency and then you're bringing travel agents in under you, that's a whole different structure than what I talked about earlier, because now you're acting as a host agency yourself. So that's a way to make even more money and to be lucrative in this business as well, if that's something that you wanted to do. But just overall, I do feel like this is a great career. I was kind of even when things really got hard that first year and a half, and I was like, well, don't really feel like I'm making enough to where it's worth it. It really brought it back to, I'm really passionate about travel, and this is what I'm passionate about. So I just stuck with it. I said, let me just restructure, figure out how I want to do things moving forward. But I do realize that travel is something that I'm passionate about. And at the end of the day, you just have to weather out the hard times and put in your time at the end of the day. Now, some people do get really lucky. If you are and I'm not even gonna say lucky, some people are well prepared and that they have experienced other things. Maybe you learn different things about social media. There's so many ways to get your name out there. But in the beginning, no matter what, you're going to have to build your clientele, and there will be a waiting period pretty much, or a developing period, if you will, in order to really get this business to where you want to be. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it gave you some insight into how much travel agents make, and then also how we get paid as well. If you guys have any questions, leave it down below in the comments. I try to answer most all the comments. If you upload them pretty quickly after I've uploaded this video, I'll try to get back to you ASAP. Now, just a reminder, if you do want to start planning group trips, kind of like I do it, I do have a link to that in the description as well, kind of coaching you how to do that. And then if you want to join me in Punta Cana for 2025, then that link is also going to be below. I hope to see you guys in the next video, and have a good day.